Welcome to another episode of Middle Ground with JLE, L.L.C, where we treat you like family. That's the theme song, Detroit Love, from my first album, The JLE Experience. I own the rights to everything. Don't mute nothing on Facebook. I always got to say that now. Got another amazing guest for you. Read off her amazing accolades. Cybersecurity expert, board member, vCISO, awarded Optimist, CMMC, PMP, MBA, MHA, Six Sigma belt, black belt, Cybersecurity Army Builder, CSSBB-Lean black belt, Advanced Scrum Master, CSM, SAFE, SSM, PMP, MMSDC, the owner of the Ovation Point L.L.C, my teammate, Regina, Gina King. Welcome to the show.
Happy to be here.
Okay, cybersecurity aware this month. Got a few questions about it. First question being, what led you to cybersecurity?
Oh my goodness. I was pulled into cyber. I manage projects, technical projects, and from time to time there will be cybersecurity or parts of the project where we need to take into account how the data was being managed and how the assets were being set up. And so there's an entire team that works on this cybersecurity team. And so I would have to interact with them. And I really felt like they had a passion for the business. And so I started working more and more with them. And that's how I got into cybersecurity.
Okay. So what does cybersecurity do?
So cybersecurity, a lot of people think it's about tools and technology and data, but it's really about protecting people because either inadvertently or on purpose, there are individuals who, because they have access to data or they're able to change how the data moves or operates, they can do everything from cause a disruption in information to moving different machines and things. And so as a result, sometimes people's lives are on the line. So cybersecurity is all about managing the risk around that.
Okay. And what are some basic tips anyone can do to avoid being hacked?
That anyone can do. I would say the top thing would be to recognize when your information needs to be shared with someone or not, and what that information should be. And then whoever you're sharing your information with, how will they use the information and how will they protect your information? So I would say, just like any personal property you have, if it's not with you, how is it protected? How is it being used? Can it be used against you? And above all that, I would say, you don't have to be an expert in technology or cybersecurity to get help. And so I mentor people at no charge. They can reach out to me on LinkedIn or give me a call. My number's out there, and I'll try to either direct them to individuals who can help them specifically or help them understand kind of what the rules are around the information that they're working with at the time.
Now, what's an example of something you're talking about for any person listening?
Yeah, so often when people are shopping online, you want to use sites that are reputable sites that you can tell that they're protecting your information. And if you're not sure, you want to get help and make sure that you're not putting your credit card information, your address information, about your Social Security, your health, all of those protected pieces of information. You want to make sure that you keep them close. And if you're not sure, I would say the key thing is don't try to memorize all this, get help. And make sure you're not on risky sites with a bunch of pop-ups and things, because it could be the case that you don't notice that you're being attacked or you don't notice you're being hacked until after the fact. Maybe they broke into your bank account, or you start noticing different things happening with technology around your home if you have smart devices and that type of thing. So I would say make sure you get help and you understand the responsibility you have for the assets and the data that is important to you.
Okay. So I know a few years ago, I think Target had a massive attack around Christmas time.
Absolutely. And one of the reasons I wanted to come and talk about this is The holidays are coming. People are still recovering from the economic impacts of COVID and everything around that. And I think this is going to be a very trying time for a lot of companies and people and organizations. And so I'm making my rounds talking about cybersecurity, talking about protecting your data, reminding people that if your machine is telling you that your account has been in a breach, that you want to change your password, that you want to get help and make sure you understand what's happening. Is very similar to your protected health information. And people often feel like since they don't know why the information is important, or they don't personally know how that information can be used to infiltrate the rest of their information, that is not a big deal. Or if it's public, it's not a big deal. And that's not true. A couple pieces of public information can be used to get a lot of information about who you are privately.
Okay. Now you put on the flyer for the show that you made to help the brand, which is an awesome flyer. What, Drive to Zero? Can you talk about
Drive
that a little bit?
barriers to zero. Yes. So often for companies that either don't have their own IT departments, or maybe they have like one IT guy or one IT girl, they may not necessarily have access to some of the tools and technologies and information that some larger companies or global organizations have. What I want to do is drive the barriers to that information to zero. So any companies that exist or any small business individuals, I want to be able to help connect them to information and people that can help them understand what cybersecurity is about, understand how they can protect themselves, where there's no barrier to the information. And the reason that's important to me is I thought the number one barrier was money. I thought people didn't invest in cybersecurity tools and technologies, ways to manage risk because it's expensive, but that wasn't the case. I happened to have done a survey of about 200 companies, all different sizes, and the number one reason that they didn't invest in cybersecurity was they didn't know what to invest in. So that's
Oh,
something
wow.
I can definitely help with. I have some assessments, and I'm sure all of you, if you don't have a friend that's in cybersecurity, you need to get a couple that you can trust, because we have assessments and things that will help you to know where you should start and help you prioritize getting that work done. Then I thought maybe the second number one reason, the second reason that they didn't invest in cyber had to do with money. It wasn't money. So number one is they didn't know what to invest in. Number two was if they knew what to invest in, they didn't have the staff to implement it. So again, that's something that find you someone in cybersecurity that you trust. We know a lot of people who know about cybersecurity who can find tools and technology programs and grants and things to help you get cybersecurity strategies implemented. The government has made this a top priority. The number three reason also was not money. So number one was we don't know what to invest in. Number two is if we knew what to invest in, we don't have the staff. And number three was if we knew what to invest in and we had the staff, how long would it take us to be safe? And the thing about cybersecurity is it's sort of like life insurance. It's never done, it's never finished. But if you don't
Mhm.
have it, as soon as something happens, you wish you had it. So you want to always take care of the care and feeding of protecting your information.
Now, what would be some of the things of options for them to invest in if they got the money to do it?
Well, the interesting thing is some of the main things that individuals and even smaller companies can do having to do with cybersecurity isn't necessarily something that they need to buy. The first thing is understanding where where are all of the different tools and technologies and things you have where your private information could be stored. We're talking about your phone. We're talking about your laptop. We're talking about documents and pieces of paper and things. And sometimes individuals have given phones away or given computers away. Maybe they gave their computer to their son who went off to college. And so you have all your personal information, your bank account, websites, everything's on that laptop and it's in another state. So we want to be
Ooh.
aware. So just that awareness of where are all of your things can be key and critical to understanding the whole landscape of risks that you're facing. Then the next thing is if you have passwords and things that you know aren't safe and you can do a little bit of research online, I can certainly help you. Get those passwords safe where you can. You want multi-factor authentication. And I'm trying to do this without using a lot of cyber terms, because one of the things in cybersecurity that we do poorly is use a bunch of cybersecurity jargon, which makes people just gloss over and not understand. So you want to protect yourself when it comes to using your ID and password. So you want to get help with that. And so
Yeah,
those two
somebody.
things don't cost, you don't have to invest in buying a tool. There are tools that can help you with that, but not necessarily. So if you can't, you want to do what you can now so you can do more later.
Now, SM say wipe devices.
Absolutely.
How would,
So if you
how would
give
a
a
person
device,
go about
yes. If you're about to give a device away, you want to make sure you wipe that information. If you're a small business and let's say you're a vendor or a supplier for another larger organization, if you're going to give that asset away, wipe that information off, or you are causing a risk. And if one of us is at risk, we're all at risk because we're all connected, right? We're all on the internet. And so you want to make sure you decrease that risk.
Now, how would a person go about wiping their device?
You want to get help because that's going to be a discussion. So, you know, whether it's Windows or Mac or iPhone or Android or some other, you want to get help with that. But if you reach out to me, I can find you someone. I can probably help you. But you want to make sure you get that information off of that device. And if you are a vendor or supplier to an organization, often within the documentation you sign, they'll have a procedure in there that they want you to go through in wiping that device to make sure that there are no remnants of accounts, passwords, sensitive data from other organizations. So you really want to do a good job with that.
Yeah, I mean, there's some great info because I never thought about if someone gave their device away, they didn't take all their cards
The
and stuff
pictures
off it.
on there, everything. Yes. So from time to time, I'll purchase a machine or routers and things. You'd be surprised at how many people just leave everything on there and just sell it as is. And it's like, oh,
Oh,
my
heck nah. You might leave stuff you don't want nobody know about on there.
it happens.
Oh,
Pictures, yeah, you name it.
okay. If anybody got a question, they can feel free to chime in with
Absolutely.
us.
Blow me up.
Great conversation. What do you got going on?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. So when I'm not managing cyber projects, I am either teaching cyber courses or helping people, find grants so that they can implement cybersecurity services or learning something new about cyber. I'm probably one of the very few people you would meet that has not invested in any specific cybersecurity certification or degrees. And one thing that's passionate to me is I know that everybody's in cyber, whether you want to be or not, because your data is involved, your children's data is involved. We're all in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that I do is I help to coach people to find job opportunities in cybersecurity, even if they don't have a ton of technical experience. If they have the right passion, they can learn the technology. We just need people who care.
Now you're talking about grants. Can you sponge on that a little bit?
Yeah, so from time to time, especially the government and other organizations that are looking to partner
Mm-hmm.
with companies and recognize that the cybersecurity barrier is huge, they'll have funding opportunities to get help with that. And that was one of the flyers that I sent. So if you reach out to me, especially if you're in Michigan, I have access to some partnerships that I've made to help drive the barriers down to zero, help people take care of their cyber liabilities as much as we can, where the government is putting up a percentage of the cost to having the assessment done and then the work beyond that. So if you reach out to me, I can share that information with you.
Okay. And SM's asking, how do you get into cybersecurity analysis?
Okay, so the thing that I would say right away is that there are a couple different areas of cybersecurity, so we probably need to talk about it because I don't want to use a bunch of cyber jargon, but there's a technical part of cyber which is dealing with the caring, feeding of the operational aspects of making sure that organizations aren't being actively attacked and that they're maintaining the fortress around critical data, critical information, and what makes that company in their secret sauce. There's also a leadership and governance and communication approach, which you want to understand the tools and technology that's involved, but it's really around the governance and communication around with people. And so when you say cyber analyst, people often think it's all about the tools and technology. So that means you would have to learn those tools and technology. And there are a lot of free resources to help you with that. But you want to, as much as you can, stand up environments, even at home, where you can practice on some of the tools and technologies that different companies may have you use. So when you're in interviews and having discussions about those things, you have some familiarity with what it takes so you can get an opportunity. And so if you have it at home and you're able to go through lessons, you definitely want to connect with other people who have those titles already. Often people in cyber, we share everything because we know there's a shortage of talent in cybersecurity. So it's not difficult to find information. Yep, I would say over 3 million open roles in cyber.
Oh, is it nice living involved in getting to that field?
You know what? I'm going to say it could be. The reason I say it could be is even though the money's nice, I think it's important for me to say not all organizations behave in the same way. So I don't want anyone to take a job where even though they're making nice money, they feel like they're working with people they can't trust. It's very important that you feel like you're working with people that are ethical in their dealings. And so as a result, you want to connect with people in cybersecurity to understand what some of those key and critical questions are. Some research you can do about the organization, talking to other people who have either worked there or currently work there, just about their experience there, because not everybody fits every place. I'm one of those people. I don't fit in a lot of places because I have a passion for people. I'm not going to do anything to my technical team that I wouldn't do myself. If they're working late, I'm working late. So that doesn't necessarily fit everywhere. So I would say, you can find organizations that value what you do and pay well, but you can also find other organizations that no matter how much they pay you, you'd never work there. And so you want to get help. And so that's why I spend some time coaching people on how to reconcile what it is they want to do and the type of environment they want to be in.
So some Decepticons out there, unfortunately.
Absolutely. They're everywhere. They're everywhere.
That ain't right. Now, you teach classes. How would someone register for one of your classes?
So usually if someone approaches me and they have some type of need, I've taught over 400 classes, everything from project management, cybersecurity, business. I really have a passion. All I see is options for people. So I can either help them myself if it's something that I think, that we can do together, or help them to find free resources and then advise them on how to get through the content. Or sometimes I pull together a little group so that they can work together and come up with a portfolio. That way, again, when they're in the interview and talking about it, we've already established like the price point thereafter. So it makes it easy to have that discussion and help leadership and help your potential manager to know what you're capable of doing, what you're willing to do, and that you see a future with that organization. So they can get in touch with me and I can help them find something.
Okay. Now, is it ever a moment like you watch the movies and hackers trying to attack and you got the people hitting the keyboards trying to stop them? Is there ever any moments like that where someone's constantly trying to get through and they got to get blocked? Or that's just movie stuff?
No, it happens a lot. Sometimes in organizations, they've been there for a very long time and the organization isn't aware. And so what they'll do is little things to gauge how the company will react so that they can figure out a way around it. So when they go after what they're really going after, they know how your whole organization works. So sometimes things like that do happen where, you're at work, 20, 25 hours trying to figure out what's going on because there's been some type of breach. There are a lot of really intelligent people out there, but luckily there are a lot of really intelligent people in cyber also. And often, cyber criminals, they took the same courses that people, took that work in cyber. So, it's kind of a chess game sometimes, but with the right group of people and right leadership, organizations recover from it and they get it together.
Okay. Anything else you got going on? You want to let people know about?
Anything else? So I do want to start having little groups get together, even if it's just we're going to clean up our passwords or we're going to spend the day going through our online content and making sure, our personalities online don't have information that we don't want people to have, that type of thing. So if people reach out, even if they reach out to you, I'm sure we'll be connected. We can kind of set up some of those little groups, especially before the holidays here. I want people to feel like that they have expertise on demand, a group of people that can help them to kind of get through what's about to happen here.
Okay. SM says average time of threat actors in the system, 281 days. Maybe one of your teammates. No. So you got some good
Absolutely.
information.
Smart guy. We're going to register so you can interview him.
Okay. I'm down for that.
Okay.
What else you got going on?
That's it. It's enough.
You ever thought about writing a book?
I have not. Maybe we have to do that. We could just have a conversation and then I can have my computer type it all out and then we can get it published and that'll be that. Want to do it?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean,
we can make it into a workbook so people can, reflect on what they've read and let's do it.
Yeah, because definitely a lot of people that when I post the latest episode on all the platforms, they follow it or they might check it out. But I was amazed that some was like, I'm gonna check this one out. So I'm like, okay, I never heard. How long has Cybersecurity Awareness Month been going on? I know that was a thing.
Yeah, so I really wish it was Cyber Behavior Change Month, because being aware, what does that do? Like, you're aware. So I wish it was now that you're aware, we need to do something. So I wish it was Cyber Behavior Change Month, but it's been going on for a couple of years. I know organizations do a lot in trying to get their employees aware and things. I'm not, that's a whole other discussion, but yeah, I think it should be behavior change. We need to change how we behave.
Okay. Do you think people give out too much information when they use their social platforms?
Inadvertently, I don't think they recognize, and that's one of the issues. Is we need to educate people so that they recognize that not everybody's on your side, and so people who mean to use the information for ill purposes, we want to be careful of that. Of course, you can't protect yourself from everything, but anything you can do to be more safe is only in your best interest. And so, absolutely. The organizations don't do a great job, like Facebook and that, of tracking everything you do, which is why it's difficult. Even LinkedIn, it's just a bunch of social engineering. So, but being aware of your how much risk you have is really important.
Yeah, I believe in GA classified. Everybody don't need clearance.
Exactly.
Maybe a few need to know exactly where you at, what you're doing, but everybody don't need to know. I mean, the burger at Stone.
Yeah.
From Detroit. Like, nah, dog. You don't even know I'm moving like that.
Me too. I'm from Detroit too. So yeah, that's what I love about this show.
All right. What is the biggest challenge in cybersecurity?
I think, and this is just my opinion, I think we've done a poor job in helping people to understand that we're looking for a type of character. It's not always that the person has to be super technical, because cybersecurity is moving so fast. Like, we're all learning at the pace of change. And so wherever you get in, as long as you have the passion to learn and grow, find yourself a community of mentors and support, we need all the help we can get. And I think we've set it up where it seems so, technical and tedious. But I was watching a video the other day where it was a mom and her son, and he had like a little iPad or something. And then all of a sudden you heard on the iPad, ask your mother, is that her natural hair color? Yes. And I looked, and so the little boy had found a game or something, and it was a game where you could communicate. And so there was a grown man talking to a child about his mother, and they were standing in the bathroom, and you could just see the look of horror on her face. So to me, this is a everybody problem. This is just not companies, because our kids, they don't necessarily have the ability to always know what risk they're putting themselves in. These schools are getting attacked. They don't always have, you see, that type of thing. So I think it's an everybody problem, and we're all in it together. We have to figure this out.
Yeah, that's true. Before I left Wayne State, we had a active shooter training. I'm sitting there watching public safety do it. I'm like, this is a damn shame. We got to do this in this country. I thought Columbine was a one-off in 99, 98. And it's years later, and that crap's still going on.
Everything is everywhere. Absolutely.
No, you gotta know what to do. It's
Absolutely.
crazy.
Absolutely.
Shanae says absolutely. I don't know why I say LinkedIn user. That's weird. But technology. I believe Skynet coming. You know, you gotta be prepared.
Have to be prepared. Have to be prepared, diligent, vigilant, meticulous. We're at war, and so it's not a time to be afraid. It's a time to take action and to understand where you stand. Get help. We need a partner. Figure this thing out.
Now, are you shocked that was it during the elections a few years ago that we were attacked?
No, and the reason is being an educator, I can see. So I teach classes with adult learners. So these are people that already are working in technology, working in business and
Yeah.
things. I could see, I was even back in the 90s when I first started teaching, the way that some of the organizations, and it's not their fault, it's just our culture, the way that we treat some people, we were creating cyber criminals in during that time, just the way we would treat certain people. So it could be a guy or a girl, male or female, it doesn't matter. They're um, more focused on technology. They're very good at it. It comes to them naturally. Maybe sometimes they don't necessarily have the same ability to pick up on social cues. So when people mistreat them, um, it's difficult to expect them to care about us. So if someone were to reach out to them and say, "Hey, I know a way you can make $500,000," like what would make them say no? So I'm not surprised because I think we create some of the attackers by the way
It's
we
not.
marginalize and treat people. Yeah, so I want us to figure out a way to just help everybody come home so we can stop fighting,
Yeah.
fighting on stealth and of course there's, criminals in other countries and things like that we need to, but we all need to be together protecting our country against them, not people within our own country shooting us in the back, so we need to figure something out about that.
Yeah, well, I would assume once they get caught, they might give them a government job to stop the next one like them. They
Sometimes, but you got to be the special one to get that. So,
got to hold the fort down.
absolutely,
What has been your impact in cybersecurity?
my impact in cyber. So, because um, I haven't gone after like a lot of the cyber things, and I'm not saying that the way I did it is the way to go. I think a lot of individuals who would not have necessarily thought they could fit in cyber, they're in
Mhm.
cyber. I pop teachers in cyber a lot. I
Really?
pop uh, absolutely because they're able to pick up on nuance because they have to deal with students, and students can have different learning styles, different learning curves, different learning capabilities. And so we need people who can understand how things are, but also see the gray and see the things that cyber adversaries would see that we wouldn't necessarily recognize. And that takes a certain type of person. And so I think the impact I've had in cyber is my ability to help those people realize that they can be a part of the cybersecurity community.
Okay. I mean, I'm learning a lot. I said I didn't know there was Cybersecurity Month, and never coming up with these questions like, okay, you don't know nothing about technology. What would you want to know? And try to come up with some questions.
Absolutely. Well, you're doing a
What
great
is
job.
your
Great questions.
thank you. What is your advice on cybersecurity overall?
My advice on cybersecurity overall is that you don't have to be an expert at it to know that you need help. Once you find someone who can assist you, they can be a guide and help you navigate. It's sort of like visiting a theme park. You don't know everything that's there, but there are people there who will help you. And I think sometimes the way cybersecurity sounds, people think if they just ignore it, it'll go away. That's not the case.
Oh no,
It's not the
that ain't
case.
gonna happen. That is the wrong approach. No,
Exactly.
you got your credit card out here. Oh no, we got Summer saying good evening from Austin,
Hey,
Texas. What's
Summer.
going on down there? I remember my father-in-law was working for iTunes, they tech support, and I used to hear the funniest stories on how some parents would get a kid a device, leave their credit card on there, and that's when what
Yes.
roadblocks and things start coming. And
Yep.
they find out they 3 grand in the hole. They're like, "Oh well, your kid made all these purchases playing this game." Like, no, they didn't. Like, Someone
Right.
spent the money.
Exactly.
And then you hear that, I'm going to beat the boo boo. Like, oh, they realize we're not going to say we took your money. Someone had to do something for us to get it.
You know, you're making an important point. You're making an important point. I think some people think that cyber attack is something different from everything else, but computers just do whatever you tell them. That's the weird thing about it is the technology doesn't discriminate, and so just like a kid can do that, you know, a teenager can end up infiltrating an organization and getting access to proprietary information because the computer is not evaluating people's ages. The computer, look, if you in, you in.
Nope.
So,
It's a bad function, input, output.
yep,
So you're going to play Roblox and be fiend out. Hey, put this $100 in there and buy what you need and
exactly,
keep playing. Nobody know you
exactly,
take Big Mama hook up to do it until she get that call. Hey, I got this. Like, someone on this day bought it.
exactly. Yep.
And then after that, the beatdown come. The first gonna be in every story he would tell me, like, no, you're lying. They would never like.
They don't understand the
We don't
implications.
even know you, where you from, what your card is. Somehow we took $200 from you. Like, come on now.
Right. Let's think
You
about
do all
that.
that.
Mhm.
Your
And that's the
little
same
baby did it.
Absolutely. And that's the same thing with individuals. They don't necessarily understand the implications of what they're doing, which is why you need to get help and really understand. Because ultimately, even if you are correct, even if you did everything right, where do you go when you're attacked, when you experience a cyber attack? You can call the local police, but what are they going to do? They're going to say, well, we don't investigate websites. So you have to protect yourself. You have to do what you can to protect yourself. There is a website online that the federal government allows you to report cyber attacks.
Okay.
There's like a gazillion reports out there. So good luck with that. Yeah. Colombo is not coming to your house. It's just not going to happen. Absolutely.
Is that Colombo? That's a great show. You watch the rerun. Charlene said, good evening, everybody. To my people popping in on this Friday night. Whenever I'm protecting your tech. Exactly. Skynet is real dynamic. They're going to get you. Oh, she say facts, the violation, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I felt bad, but I got a good laugh hearing these stories. I'm like, what is a roadblock? Oh, it's a game the kids into. Like, they got them feet like that. They go and get Big Mama credit card to start buying stuff. Like, oh, no. But no different than what we did as kids, too. Going to up the street. If you had one in your neighborhood, they had the pinball machines. Mama told you to get some groceries. You got about $40 of change. Let me stop at the corner store, and you just up there playing. Forget what time it is. Your mama called up there. Oh, they playing the game right now. Tell them to come home.
Right.
And you get there because you just spent half the money on the game. So we're just same thing, but with technology. Because every evolve.
The implications are far and wide now.
Do they teach classes in college about this? You think?
They do. And so one of the reasons I've had to step away from some colleges is I think cybersecurity should be a course in every discipline. We can't tell somebody because you're taking a business degree, you shouldn't have a cybersecurity course. Everybody needs one. And so even in middle school, elementary school, like wherever they will have me, I will go and do something having to do with cybersecurity, because if you don't know, you're completely exposed. At least if there's some awareness and we talk about behavior change. And every time I visit a high school, the students just have so many stories. They know, they're aware, but they're not being educated.
Absolutely. I guess they proactive, like Charlie said.
Yes. And vigilant, diligent, on top of it.
We do need some Ghostbusters for technology. I don't know who it's going to be, though. Besides yourself. You say you can't call the hotline, they're going to get to you. It's going to be a minute. Maybe they need to put some more funds to that to really be able to help you instantly on those issues.
And that's why I go after grants. You know, sometimes they may not even be for cybersecurity, but by the time I'm finished responding to it based on the need, you know, from time to time, I'll get grants for companies so that they can improve their cyber posture. Yeah. Really good at it.
Okay. Now, what do you think about with all the new phones having the face recognition? What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I think it's a bad idea. So the thing is, and this is my personal opinion, when people do things that we didn't anticipate that we like, we call it innovation. They were
Okay.
innovative, they were creative, they were artistic. When people do things we didn't anticipate that we don't like, we call them criminals. The only difference is we're not ready. So if we're not ready and it's something we didn't anticipate and it's a way we didn't like, now all of a sudden we don't like them. So even though facial recognition, people say, well, it's just looking at your face. But as soon as someone uses that technology and innovates in a way we don't like, now we've been infiltrated with something that we thought was okay. And that's why I
Yeah.
feel that it's not a good idea, because we don't understand the full implications of what it can mean. Just like artificial intelligence, there's a good way you can use it and a bad way. Everything has two edges. Have you ever seen a quarter with one side?
No, I've never seen one. I've heard they have some, but I've never seen it.
Well, on the other side is something. So whatever it
Yeah.
is, there's an opposite side of that that nobody wants. And so we already have so many things that we don't know about. Just adding something else in that technology bank of garbage is probably a bad idea, especially without the right education about how to properly use it. I know people that don't even really know how to use their cell phones. So what are you gonna do?
Oh, really? Hmm.
Oh my goodness. When we were younger, so we didn't have technology at our fingertips. I spend at least 2 or 3 hours a day just researching things. And sometimes it's things I already know just to see what everybody else thinks about it. Like to me, it's like a library in my hand. There are some people that really just use their phones as a phone. It's a smartphone and they just use it as a phone. They're not researching. They're not improving their productivity. I don't even know why they have a phone. If you're just using it as a phone, like
Unless they speak on it.
absolutely. Absolutely. Just yeah.
Yeah,
It,
yeah. Your phone now is a mini computer, pretty
yes.
much.
And you should
I
take full
remember having people.
advantage before they take it away.
Yeah, I try to limit my access to the phone because if I get one person that reach back out want to be a guest, before you know it, I'm posting stuff like, okay, you're just gonna take a break from the business, look at cartoons, put your phone down,
Yeah,
go
yeah,
work on a song or something. Because once I pick
absolutely.
it up, oh, this person might reach out. This person like, dang, it's 3 hours later. I've been put the phone down.
Totally possible. Totally possible.
We got to find balance.
Totally
But
possible.
if they cut the power off, people will go crazy. Like, what? I don't even know my mama number, for example. Like, 'cause I just mom hit the button.
Exactly.
Like that's probably lost with a lot of people. Just something that basic. Keeping
Absolutely.
up with people.
Absolutely.
I know a few
Absolutely.
people now. Not about it. Not everybody.
Yeah. Me either. I don't even try. So
Hear that? I appreciate you stopping in, Charlene. I know a lot of people gonna check out this replay because it's a lot of great information. I'm trying to make sure I can come up with all type of cyber for dummy questions that someone might be thinking about. That is check
absolutely.
the show.
We can do something again. I got all kinds of things. All kinds of things.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm looking at all this stuff and I read it off like, she's something like a Hall of Famer with all this stuff.
You know what?
Hey,
It wasn't my intention. Companies, and when I mentioned early on, you want to be careful with the companies you work with. Some companies, they just churn you. And so I've worked for some of those companies that they just have you doing so many things. But in this current environment, those things just happen to be things that are helpful. And so um,
okay,
I'm glad I have the opportunity to share them with other people.
okay. Well,
Absolutely.
last question: what advice do you have for someone trying to find their purpose?
Trying to find their purpose. Um, be encouraged. Uh, your purpose, I believe, is a coming to yourself. So even though you're searching, you'll find that your purpose is who you already are.
Okay.
You'll start, it's like a remembering of who you are, and then you'll realize, oh, this has always been with me. I've always been this way. Like when I was younger, um, before I could read, I would play school. I would have like little pieces of mail with all my stuffed animals,
Okay.
walk around with them, whatever. And so, but sometimes I would be a nurse. Sometimes I would be a chef, and and so I find that when I was in the third grade, a teacher made a comment that she said, I was so busy helping everybody else that I was going to grow up and not be able to retire, that I would just end up having to work like my whole life. And she said it to me in a real rude way, but it made me feel so excited. Like I can do a whole bunch of things. So I would just say it's a more coming back to yourself, is what I would say. So you'll find it. It'll find you. Be encouraged.
I never saw doing none of this. So I'm sitting here pondering. You said coming back to you, like I don't recall nothing like this.
It'll come to you. It'll come to you.
People, engaging people. That's so weird. I have to be to myself.
Don't forget I'm the one that told you, because you're on your way there.
Oh yeah, you keep me on my toes as a teammate. I appreciate it. Stuff I don't even think about doing. You be on it. And I do appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you because you've been working at this for so long, and I can tell you've been working real hard at learning new tools, new technologies, and new ways of doing things. It's inspiring.
I told my younger self, you be a little tech savvy like me. Nah, dog. I can cut it on.
I was the same way. I thought computers were like VCRs. You just keep pushing the button until you figure out how to get the time right. That's what I.
Oh man,
that's what I thought.
all the updates that keep up with. Like, what the world?
It's like, okay, I tried this. Yeah.
Change the world.
Absolutely.
Well, I definitely appreciate you sharing all this cyber information that people who watch now, who check out the replay. I hope I've asked enough questions that they might be thinking about. That'll help them because holiday season is here, and we do tend to get online and shop and start giving out our credit cards or debit cards.
Be careful.
Yeah, be a little careful with that, because everybody ain't got the guardians at the gates like they need to. And you hope you don't hear no breaking news. This big company got a breach. Like what?
Absolutely.
Oh no. Seems like every year you might hear that, unfortunately. But we want to thank the owner of Ovation Point L.L.C, Regina King, and all of the stuff I said earlier. She's so awesome.
Right. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I don't want to hold up all her time. Definitely reach out to her if you want to make sure your stuff's secure as a cyber person.
Fantastic.
And to everybody, hope you enjoy your weekend. I'm going to create the episode, send you a copy. We probably might chat in a minute. So I know you got some ideas. Yeah, I'm going to play this awesome outro. I'll be sure to get my books on Amazon. #Musician Thought Series, albums, JLE World, JLE Experience. And merchandise is coming soon. And the website. Till next time, everybody.